Hello friends, Reckless Tempest, top 16 seasonals play here. Today we're going to be going over Lor-Meta's weekly meta report, which has top decks by Playrate, what decks we should be climbing for a ladder to get that sweet LP. Also, we're going to be looking at the best versions of the archetypes that have been shown in the meta table. Also, the link to the article and deck codes will be in the description. Let's get into top archetypes based on Playrate. We have a new Queen of the Metagame, Mono Kaisa Demacia at 13.5%. She's kind of taken over, though the Sharp Sight nerf, I believe, went through today. So we're probably going to see that come down next week, but currently 13.5%. Illaoi Bard has fallen to second at 11.4. Sivir Kaisa, just another Kaisa variant, so this is getting close to like a fifth of the metagame, just Kaisa decks. Twisted Fate Annie still hodling strong. Azir Irelia, I believe, was at first last week. Now it's down to fifth. Jin Annie still floating around. I don't think we had Heimerdinger Jace on the list last week. It's cropped up. Draven Sun, I believe, has good matchups against Kaisa, because she's kind of soft aggro decks, and Draven Sun's more of an aggro deck now than a big chunky mid-range deck like it used to be. Shen Bard at 9th. Twisted Fate Nami's kind of crept up back from the depths to hit 10th place. So with that in mind, let's move on to the power rankings. Oh, just real quick, this article also has really cool matchup tables, which can help you figure out what decks to pick. There's way too much for me to go over in here, so, check the link in the description if you want to take a look at that. And the top deck we should be playing, according to the power score, is Kaisa. Mono Kaisa at 100%. Twisted Fate Nami. Wow, yeah, 93%. That's definitely pretty high. Sivir Kaisa at 90, roughly. And then we kind of have a big dip down to Shen Bard or Illaoi Bard. Twisted Fate Annie also kind of languishing down there. It's kind of funny because I just don't think it has all the tools necessary to probably beat Kaisa with all the spell shields and ancient hourglasses they have available. And yeah, holy crap, Azir really has fallen. I don't think it was this low last week, so this is kind of interesting. If you're finding value in this, I'd appreciate it if you decimated that like button. Yours costs 0, and it helps get this recommended to other ladder grinders. And basically the way the Metascore works is, or the power score is, it's win rate against the field, and the Metascore, this column here, is the comparative power level, but just in the top 10. At least that's how I read it. And now we have a nice little infographic here, kind of giving us a little breakdown, and Kaisa's just fallen at the top of the meta score. But again, the power score is kind of more useful for ladder because not everyone plays what they should. So you want to capture all those win rates against everyone else. Down here, we have some nice deck codes we can go through, and let's get into those. Alright, here we have Mono Kaisa. It's actually kind of cool that they've been playing Hatchling as just another card to give them 2 keywords. But besides that, nothing too interesting. I guess one Abomination. Oh yeah, and all these deck codes I'm going through, will be in the description, but also these were just really high win rates that I found. But also, I didn't always go for like the absolute highest win rate. I want to find the sweet spot of games played to win rate. So sometimes there's a big jump down from the first deck list to the second, but if the win rate's like 5% or 8% higher, I'll select it. Yeah, here we have Red Negation, Supercharge. Also, it's a Kaisa champion spell, so they have more supercharges than it appears on the deck list. Because Red Calling enables, the 6 Kaisa plan. Next deck is Bard Illaoi. I think this is the exact same list as last week. One list, 2 Even Warned. There's like a few situations where the list is slightly better. But yeah, honestly, not a whole lot has changed here. Just no Zap Spray Fin. I think that was the highest played list, but it had a much lower win rate. Sivir Kaisa is, I guess, the least winning version of Kaisa, but it still has a positive win rate. Oh yeah, the other list had no Radiant Guardian and only 1 Void Abomination, where this has 2 Radiant Guardians and 2 Void Abominations, so I think it was when I was going through on the Mastering Runeterra podcast how this is a better deck at just playing a turn 8 Void Abomination. I guess that was the Akshan version. But yeah, this might be better for like more specific metagames, maybe best of 3, where you're like targeting super decks, because the matchups are going to be different. Here's just like a normal TF Annie list. Nothing too crazy going on here. Like 3 Blades Edges are fine. But there's another one that conned me. It has a higher win rate. I think it was like about 61%. But this is clearly an aggro deck. And I think this is probably like debate farming people because, you know, they see Annie Twisted Fate in the loading screen. They think, okay, we're going to be playing against like a very controlling, strong mid-range control deck that tries to blow up all my stuff. And then they play turn 1 Legion Rearguard or Saboteur, and you're like, oh no, I'm in danger. I actually think this is really interesting, and I'd like to see kind of how its matchup tables look, because I think its matchup tables are probably being absorbed into the TF Annie control archetype. So this will be something I'm gonna be exploring later, because tricking people is so cool. Here we have Azir, Irelia. I don't know, 2 Rite Callings, kind of interesting. Normally they only play 1. Ionian Telstones just being access to Homecoming, but also letting them do some tricky Stand United stuff, or just having access to Health Potion can actually help against aggro decks. And yeah, nothing too interesting here. I guess more 1-drops than normal. Domination, you know, has seen very consistent play across the archetype in general. 2 Field Musicians, 2 Blossoming Blades, these are fine top-end cards. Jin Annie, I think this might be the exact same deck as last week, or at the very least it's super similar. The only differences I've really seen is Augmented Experimenter being played as a 1-of, and shuffling the numbers of Sentries and Doom Beasts around. Jace Heimerdinger 6-drop Dock Control deck, back in the metagame. I don't really see anything particularly interesting here. It's just a solid deck. I I'm not sure why it's up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a matchup table scientist, so you know, if any of you know why, let me know. Draven Scion. This was the highest win rate version I could find, and the cool thing about this is it's playing 2 Fervors on top of the 3 Get Exciteds and Mystic Shots and 3 Decimates. So just over time, I've kind of noticed a trend of Draven Scion trending more and more towards being a silly, dumb burn deck, and I think this list really shows like how far they've gone. But besides that, it's pretty stock. Like nothing super exciting here. I guess like this is boomer talk, but like sometimes they didn't even play Reborn Grenadier, but now you know it's a constant 3 of Bard Chen new deck, right? They buffed Chen, they buffed support. Apparently this card almost always has barrier, and Chen just like levels super quickly. I haven't really played against this much or played it, so I don't have a whole lot to add. I did see, like, this list only plays 2 estimates. I saw another one play 3. One of them had the Mystic Sanctuary card that puts Chimes in your deck instead of the Dragon's Rage. I just picked this because it had a slightly higher win rate, and Dragon's Rage is a cooler card. Nami TF, this was the highest win rate version I could find, combined with Playrate, and you know, we see 3 Go Hards and the normal package, honestly, of a lot of stuff. 1 Ruination, 1 Harrowing, and the normal package at Orcs. I did see a version that didn't play Shelly, and I forget the other card they excluded, but they had the 6-mana Tentacle Smasher spell that the damage to a unit, spawn 3, and the 2 to the enemy nexus, but it had a pretty low win rate, so I didn't want to include it. So yeah, that's this weekly meta report. You know, if you have any questions or whatever, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Oh, also, if you want to watch some gameplay of Illaoi, should be on the video screen now.